The year is 1492. Europe stands on the brink of transformation. The Middle Ages are fading. A new era, the Renaissance, is dawning. It is a time of intellectual curiosity, artistic flourishing, and renewed interest in trade and exploration. For centuries, Europe had relied on established trade routes to the east, controlled by powerful intermediaries. The desire for direct access to the riches of Asia, particularly spices, fueled the ambitions of European monarchs and merchants. Among them was a Genoese sailor named Christopher Columbus. Columbus, driven by a belief that the world was round, envisioned a westward route to the east. He sought patronage from various European courts, finally securing support from King Ferdinand and Queen Isabella of Spain. With their backing, Columbus embarked on a voyage that would forever alter the course of history. Little did he know, he was not sailing towards the familiar shores of Asia, but towards a new, unknown continent. Columbus's expedition was fraught with challenges from the outset. He commanded 3 small ships, the Nina, the Pinta, and the flagship, the Santa Maria. The vessels were ill-suited for a transatlantic voyage, and the crew, plagued by uncertainty and fear, often threatened mutiny. The vastness of the Atlantic Ocean tested their resolve. Weeks turned into months, with no sight of land. Supplies dwindled, and despair began to set in. Yet Columbus remained steadfast in his belief that he would reach the Indies. He pressed on, driven by a combination of ambition, religious fervor, and perhaps a touch of delusion. His unwavering determination, though misguided in its geographical assumptions, would ultimately lead him to make one of the most consequential discoveries in human history. As the weeks turned into months, signs of land finally appeared on the horizon. After more than 2 months at sea, a lookout on the Pinta spotted land. On October 12, 1492, Columbus and his crew set foot on an island in the Bahamas, which he named San Salvador. Believing he had reached the islands off the coast of Asia, Columbus called the native inhabitants Indians. This misconception would persist for years, shaping European perceptions of the Americas. Columbus encountered indigenous communities with distinct cultures, languages, and ways of life. He was struck by their generosity and peaceful nature, seeing them as potential converts to Christianity and subjects of the Spanish crown. Columbus claimed the land in the name of Spain, marking the beginning of European colonization of the Americas. This fateful encounter, a result of miscalculation and ambition, would have far-reaching consequences for both the Old and the New Worlds. The news of Columbus's discovery reverberated throughout Europe. It sparked a wave of excitement, curiosity, and greed. Here was a new land, ripe for exploration and exploitation. European powers, eager to establish their own claims and amass wealth, launched expeditions of their own. This marked the beginning of the Age of Exploration, a period of intense transoceanic voyages and colonial expansion that would reshape the world. The consequences of Columbus's arrival were devastating for the indigenous populations. European diseases such as smallpox and measles, to which the native people had no immunity, swept through the Americas, decimating entire populations. The introduction of new technologies, animals, and plants disrupted traditional ways of life. The arrival of Europeans also brought with it violence, enslavement, and the forced displacement of indigenous communities. Columbus's voyage was a pivotal moment in world history. It initiated a period of unprecedented cultural exchange, trade, and globalization. The Columbian Exchange, as it is known, brought new crops, animals, and ideas to both Europe and the Americas. The discovery of vast deposits of gold and silver in the Americas fueled European economies and contributed to the rise of global trade networks. However, this exchange came at a heavy cost. The exploitation of the Americas and its indigenous peoples led to centuries of colonialism, slavery, and the destruction of native cultures. The ramifications of this encounter continue to shape our world today. Columbus's accidental discovery of America was a turning point in human history. It ushered in an era of exploration, conquest, and globalization, forever altering the relationship between the Eastern and Western hemispheres. While we celebrate the spirit of exploration and the exchange of knowledge that followed, we must also acknowledge the devastating consequences of colonialism and the suffering inflicted upon indigenous populations. Columbus's voyage is a reminder that even the most unexpected discoveries can have profound and lasting impacts on the course of human history. It is a story of ambition, courage, and the enduring human desire to explore the unknown, but it is also a cautionary tale about the importance of understanding and respecting the cultures and histories of those we encounter.